You may not know this, but this is not a 9-to-5 job. If you're new to the industry and you're navigating the post-production sound world, you must know this. If you are coming out of college or your last year or you're just starting navigating the post-production sound industry, it is very important to understand expectations. And if you come into the industry with the mindset that, oh, I'm just gonna work from here to here, I punch in, I punch out, then I'm here to shatter that mindset. Let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome back to Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel Catalan. I am an Emmy-nominated re-recording mixer and industry coach, and we're talking today about going the extra mile. Here's the thing. I have had conversations with many people over the years, and something that has been coming up recently, this theme that I've heard, is this idea of getting paid for the extra time that you put in. And even more so it's more this idea, this mindset, this conversation that says, well, I'm not going to put extra work into that if I'm not getting paid. Now, I want to push up against that mentality just a little bit, because what I am going to share with you might be upsetting. You may watch this, friend, and say, I'm not going to subscribe to an industry that works that way. But my hope is that by sharing some of my stories, some of my experiences, they can help with the expectations coming into the industry. So there is a great deal of extra work that gets put in on editorial, mixing, and whatnot that we don't get paid for. Now, it's not always like that, friend, but there is this expectation, especially when you're on your first gig or you're working your way up through the industry, building credibility. There is an expectation to go the extra mile. If no one has ever told you, the post-production sound industry is a customer service industry. We work for our filmmakers. So anytime I sit at the mixing console, anytime we're doing a project with filmmakers, my job is to serve my client, to serve my filmmaker through my talent, through my skill set. But we have all been there where we are putting in extra time and we're not getting paid for it. And you might ask, well, Joel, that's on you then. You should have worked hard to make sure you get paid. Well, I'm here to kind of share a little bit of what our experience is. And I say our because this is something that is constant. I talk to my colleagues and ask them, and they're like, everybody at some point in their career was expected to go above and beyond. Now, I want to talk to you, if you're a sound editor, a dialogue editor, sound effects editor, you're working your way up, you're in those first couple years of navigating the industry. I want to share some ideas with you to help encourage you to build that mindset of understanding why it's like this. We've all worked on projects that have big budgets and we have time to do this, put in our work editorial-wise. And we've all worked on projects that don't have any money and they want so much more, right? Since our job is to always serve our clients, the mindset we should be approaching each project, each edit, each design, each mix is, how do I serve my client to the highest ability? You will be required to put in time. It's going to happen. And the reason, friend, here's the reason. The reason why I have put extra time into my projects, other people put extra time in the projects, even though they're not getting paid for them, is simply because our name is on that work. That's what it is. It's pride. Because the truth is, budgets are always shrinking, right? It's always been a gripe, a complaint It's been an issue. Like, man, I wish they had more money. The budgets keep getting cut and cut down. Now, I want to share the difference between working on a network television show like I was working on today, and let's say a short film. So I had a recent experience. I haven't done short films in a while. It's been a long time, right? Most of my work has come from either primetime television, streaming television, dramas, feature films. That's the kind of stuff that I'm working on. So when I had an opportunity to work on a short film, and I was excited because there was some flexibility with schedule. I was juggling projects, and there was like no money. There was no money. There was a little money, but there was, compared to what I'm working on, was not. Didn't even touch it. But I was excited. The project was awesome. I had worked with the director before. I said, let's do it, right? And what working on a short film allowed me to do was really get my hands in there, take my time. The work, because of schedule, it kind of lasted, several months, just kind of working with my flexibility and my schedule and whatnot. But you better believe that I did not get paid, what one would consider what they're worth, or the amount of hours that were put into it. But I loved it. My goal was to go above and beyond. And that's the difference between a project that has a budget, that has a time schedule, because that's another thing. When we work on these 1-hour dramas for primetime TV, whatnot, you get 2-3 days, of mixing, unless you have a bigger budget show that gives you 4 or 5 days, and there is a cutoff. Those producers don't want to pay extra. They don't want to pay overtime. They have a schedule to meet. They have air dates to meet, right? So you get the best kind of work in the given time. But with the short film, what it allowed me to do was get creative again. Because the truth of the matter is that when you're under tight deadlines, especially for streaming or television, you don't always get to be very creative. And that's the truth. So it was so much fun to put in extra time in the short and to say, well, let's try this, let's do that. Now, mind you, I was going above and beyond. I put in extra work because I believed in the project. I believed in building the relationship. So you might ask yourself, well, when is, too much giving a bad thing? I'm going to say, friend, that I don't think there's ever a bad time to give, and especially when it comes to our talents, and especially, friend, if you are navigating the industry for the first time, the first couple years of getting out there, you are building credibility. I'm a true believer that we all must remain curious, that curiosity leads to growth. I think if you want to grow in this industry as a sound designer, a mixer, an editor, stay curious, because that curiosity is going to lead us to growth. What does this plugin do? What if I did this to the edit? Let me try doing this in my mix. What if I brought the sound back here? Stay curious. That's going to lead to growth. And the second biggest thing is it's working hard, okay? Work hard, but the next one is that credibility, building your credibility. And the credibility comes from us showing up on time, turning in an edit when we're supposed to, go above and beyond, because how it works in this industry, it's all reputation. It's always about who you know, but more importantly, who knows you. And if you are showing up and if you get an opportunity to work on a short film, to work on your first TV show, to work on your first film, to work on a docu-series or a documentary or a game or whatnot, whatever it is, friend, show up and put in the extra time. There may not be a lot of money, right? But let me tell you, the more and more you pour in, your work is going to get better. Your relationships are going to build. The projects are going to have more money and more status as you put in the time. How do you become a better mixer? How do you become a better designer? How do you become a better dialogue editor, a Foley artist? You put the reps in. The more you do it, the better you get. So it behooves you to go above and beyond because you are building your reputation. Back when I was first starting in the industry, and I had not even landed my first gig in the business, a wise sound professional told me, Joel, the industry's like a circle. Everybody wants to get into that circle. They're fighting, they're competing, but it's hard. It's so hard to get in there. But once you get your foot inside that circle, you're in. And then your reputation precedes you. Friend, as you are building right now your world with atmosphere, with backgrounds, as you're cutting sound effects, as you're designing monsters or creatures, as you're mixing your projects, understand that you are building your reputation right now. You're building that for your future clients, your current clients, and that is so crucial. And so if you find yourself struggling with the idea of like, man, I'm not getting paid enough and I'm putting all this work in, I'm going to share something with you that hopefully helps you not feel like you're being taken advantage in the future. So I believe that every project has three things. It either has the time, it's got the people, or the project itself. And this is what I mean. Let me break this down. I believe that you must have two of the three things. And if you have two of the three things, you're golden. So let's talk about it. Let's say you are freelancing and you're starting to get your projects and you get presented with a film, let's say a short film, right? But it doesn't have a lot of money at all, like almost like nothing, right? But the people are real nice, the director's awesome, and let's say the project looks stunning, and you're like, wow, this is great. This is your cue to sign on to that project, because it may not pay anything, but now you have something that you can get practice on, you can get your reps in, you're working with good, decent people, you like them, and the project looks amazing. That's a 2 thumbs up. You go ahead with that. But let's say you get presented with this short film opportunity and the money's not there, right? And let's say the director, the filmmaker, also maybe not a good person, or you're just not vibing with, or you're getting these red flag, feelings, but the project looks so amazing. Friend, stop right there. You do not have 2 of the 3 things: the money, the project, the people. And the reason I believe sticking to this 2 of 3 rule is so important is because I want you to imagine that you sign on to do a short film and the project's awesome, but the director's so difficult, not a good person, and you're getting nothing. Friend, I'm going to tell you, by the end of your day, you're not going to want to put any extra time in there. You're going to say, I am just done with this person and this project. I can't wait for it to be over. And that does not allow you to bring your best when it comes to sitting at the mixing console or cutting sound effects or whatever you're doing when it comes to post-production sound. So let's talk about this scenario. If you have a project and let's say it's not the best, right? Maybe the actual short film or project isn't great, but it has money. It's got a good deal of money and it's got some good people. Friend, 2 thumbs up, take the job, right? Let's say the person's so-so. You're like, I don't know, but the project's awesome and the money's great. 2 thumbs up, go for it. So 2 of 3, it has to have 2 of 3. That is my recommendation for anybody who might be finding myself. So maybe it's you, friend. Maybe you're finding yourself, we're like, I don't know if I should take this. And we all know, right? You've had that project where it's a nightmare project. There's no money. What am I doing this for? The project's terrible and the director's terrible. You got none of the 3, right? This is my experience. This is the experience of so many of my colleagues who have, I've grown up with in the industry and who come before me. So again, I don't find myself in that position these days, but it was really great to have the experience of getting back on a short film because it allowed me the time to create, to have fun, to go the extra mile. Friend, in this industry, it is not a 9-to-5 job. If you didn't know, let's say you want to mix at the highest level, you want to mix those awesome shows on Netflix, Amazon, whatever, TV, whatever it is, you need to know that your standard union workday is 9 to 7. That's it. It's no 9 to 5. Now add in, especially if you're out here in Southern California, in LA doing work, add in an hour for traffic there and an hour for traffic back home, right? That's just on average. For me, getting out here was an hour and a half. Sometimes it's over 2 hours to get home. So now I've added 3.5 hours of my day to my normal 9 to 7 workday. You're getting home late. And so you have to understand this as you are entering and journeying in this industry. Is that a lifestyle you want? Because if it is, you understand the expectation, you can help better prepare mentally, emotionally, right? Inside everything to understand, hey, I'm in this for the long haul. So those of us who have come before you, friend, and have navigated this journey had to learn the hard way. Nobody told us about this, at least nobody told me about this, about the journey of like, this is not gonna be a 9-to-5 job. You're going to have to put extra time. And again, if I wasn't clear earlier, the biggest reason I'm going to encourage you, especially as you're building credibility in the sound community right now, the biggest reason to put that time time into your projects is because it's your name. Treat every gig as the resume for the next. I have maybe been asked for a resume a handful of times in my 18 years of navigating this industry. Now, when a client wants to go and says, who's available, here are the crews, let's see, they check my IMDb credits, and I'll put my credits below, right? And I want you to know, in the very beginning, and you can see for yourself, there weren't a lot of credits there. I put in layback engineer, assistant, I forget. I think I even had some composing stuff in there, directed a short film. I was looking for anything to put my, credits on there to build something. But friend, what you're doing right now, when you get a project and you go above and beyond what you're getting paid for, is you are building credibility. You're building credibility to that filmmaker that you're working with. And if you go above and beyond and you impress them, and you take care of them, and you have the attitude of service, I'm serving this client above and beyond, that is going to go a long way. That's going to be the beginning of building your reputation, because now that filmmaker that you're working with is going to remember that. And then next time they have a project, they're going to go to you because they had such a great experience. But if you treat that and you squander that project and you say, what, I'm not putting extra time into this, it's not worth it, the person's not nice, I don't like the project, I'm not getting paid anything, then guess what? You're not going to get the call the next time. Which is why I think it's so important to have 2 of the 3, right? The money, the people, or the project. When those line up, bing, 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 right? Awesome. But friend, you're building the credibility, and credibility in this industry is everything. It's the beginning, of your credits, of your reputation, because let's say hypothetically, you get an opportunity and you squander it. Let's say a sound supervisor, or you get part of a project that says, hey, I need somebody, like maybe I'll give this person a break, cut these sound effects, cut the backgrounds. And let's say you're late and you don't turn in well, you don't listen to feedback, you better believe it's going to be very difficult to expect a phone call from that supervisor in the future. So you're building that right now. And sometimes it's going to require us to go the extra mile. I know that every time I sit down, I take so much pride in what I do because I love that I get the opportunity to mix sound for film and TV. What an honor. Like, what a gift it is to be part of a small part of telling a bigger story. And I really hope for you, friend, that you get to experience that as well. But remember that it starts with going above and beyond. It starts with accepting that this is not a 9-to-5 gig, not a 9-to-5 industry. So if you can understand that and accept that, and you still want to do this, and you still want to put in the hours and understand that sometimes you're going to work with difficult clients, most of the time you're going to be working with awesome clients and awesome people, and you understand that, man, this is truly a marathon, not a sprint, because that's another thing. Friend, if you're just getting out of college or you're about to graduate film school, you must understand that this is a marathon. There's no such thing as overnight success. If you understand that and accept that, friend, you are going to be just fine. because it's that mindset that understands I am giving back to my filmmaker. I'm going to put in the extra work because my name is on that. My name, anytime I see my name on the credits, there's a tremendous amount of pride that goes through my body. This is why I teach my kids now when we go to the film, to watch a movie, we always sit through the credits, because all those names that scroll after a film or after a TV show went into creating, helping our filmmaker tell their story. And so if, after even knowing that sometimes you're not going to get paid for the work, but you understand it's your name on that and it's the resume for the next gig, then you're going to be just fine, friend. So if you are new to the post-production sound industry, if you're navigating it, or even if you've been doing it for some time but feel lost and lonely, because here's the truth, friend. This is a notoriously cold, dark, cutthroat industry. And so many of us have felt the isolation. I know for me, when I first started, I didn't have anybody to talk to. I had so many questions. I didn't know where to turn. If that's you, friend, I want to invite you to a safe space, a place where we can grow, a place of like-minded individuals and navigating the post-production sound industry. I want to personally invite you to join my inner circle. If that's interesting to you, please click the link below to learn how you and I can journey together in a private community built specifically for folks like you. All right, friend, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're new here, because I'm seeing the percentages of how many folks are coming and checking out the YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you're new here, please consider clicking subscribe and clicking that notification bell so you do not miss any time any videos pop up. Now, I'm about almost, I think, 3 years into posting once a week for the next 10 years. That's my commitment here. So if you do not want to miss any notifications anytime I put an extra video up, make sure that you're clicked and subscribe to the channel. All right, friend, thanks again. I'll catch you over here in one of these videos that I created specifically for you, friend, or in next week's episode.